The stars above Virelian Station shimmered like ancient witnesses, silent and immovable. Captain Rowan Trask stood alone at the observation deck, hands clasped behind his back. His reflection stared back from the glass, sharp jaw, grayed temples, and eyes haunted by wars he wasn't allowed to mention anymore. Once, humans had been the most feared species in the galaxy. Now, they were the most restrained. After the Terran Disarmament Act, humanity's fleets were dismantled, their weapon factories torn apart, their very biology scanned and monitored for aggressive evolution. Humans were permitted only one category of gear: defensive protection only. Nothing that could harm. The galaxy called it peace. Rowan called it a muzzle. Footsteps approached. Lieutenant Rafiq Hassan, loyal, sharp, always bracing for the next fight that he'd have to improvise. "Captain," he said, holding out a datapad. "Council request. Rebellion on Zereth 4. We're being deployed. No weapon clearance issued." Rowan arched a brow. "A rebellion? And they want us to bring empty hands?" "We have shield braces and gravity boots," Rafiq replied dryly. "And motivational speeches, maybe." Rowan turned back to the stars. "We spent centuries proving humans can survive anything. Now they want us to prove we can survive without everything." He exhaled. "Slow. Prepare the team." The dropship sliced through smog-thick skies of Zereth 4, a sprawling industrial world driven by factories and choking clouds. The air tasted like burnt metal and neglect. Inside the troop bay, a dozen Terrans sat in armored seats, no rifles, no pistols, no grenades, only impact-resistant gauntlets. Reinforced exo-weave suits, gravity lock boots, thin kinetic shields. They were peacekeepers with no means to keep peace, at least not the Council-approved way. Private Amna leaned closer to Rowan. "Sir, why do they always send humans alone to these crises?" Rowan didn't look at her. His answer was for the whole squad. "Because we're the only species that hates war enough to win without fighting." The dropship jolted. Combat sounds rumbled from below. Chaos unleashed. The ramp slammed open. Plasma fire greeted them. Rebel, Varnock mercenaries fortified the landing zone with barricades and heavy rifles. Their reptilian snarls cut through the air. Rowan's squad dove behind ruined steel containers. "Shields up," he barked. "Form cover. No direct engagement." A plasma bolt struck a trooper's arm. Shields flared and the trooper cried out but held position. Rafiq shouted over the noise. "They lied in negotiations. They said they'd stand down." "Shocking," Rowan said grimly. "Liars with guns. What a surprise." Rowan scanned the field. The Varnock held higher ground, controlled a crane platform, and had enough firepower to melt city blocks. Yet, Rowan felt something he hadn't in years, instinct locking into place. Humans were dangerous not because of weapons, but because of will. "We move," he ordered. "We adapt. We use what the field gives us." He grabbed a broken steel sheet, instantly turning it into a shield. "On my mark," he said. "Advance in pairs. Stay fluid. Use the debris." The Terrans surged. Broken scaffolds became climbing paths. Fallen railings became striking rods. Gravity boots let them sprint up vertical walls. Elbows, knees, and resolve became their weapons. A plasma blast slammed into Rowan's makeshift shield, superheated sparks flying. He kept moving, his heart pounding with an old familiar rhythm. He launched off a collapsed beam, gravity boots forcing him airborne like a missile. He crashed into a Varnock gunner, sending the rifle clattering away. The alien gasped. "You're unarmed. This is impossible." Rowan's grip tightened on the alien's armor. "We're never unarmed." A tremor shook the ground, more explosives detonating nearby. Rowan saw a young, Zerethian child trapped beside a fractured support column. Fire and debris rained down toward them. Rowan didn't hesitate. He dropped his shield and leapt, shielding the child with his body as the column gave way. His back seared with pain. Vision blurred. The kid blinked up, wide-eyed, confused. "You protected me, even though I'm not human." Rowan smiled through the pain. "Our kind isn't defined by skin." He helped the child to safety. Rowan wasn't here to conquer. He was here to protect. The battle slowed. Smoke dimmed the horizon. Rowan leaned against wreckage, catching his breath. Through the polluted sky he glimpsed a faint star. Just one point of pure light. He whispered under his breath. This universe, it's too perfect to be accidental. He wasn't praying, not really, but something stirred inside him, a stubborn belief that survival was never random. Rowan wiped blood from his lip, eyes narrowing at the towering crane platform. We end this. Now. He sprinted across beams slick with oil, boots locking to surfaces that would send any alien falling. At the top, a rusted control panel awaited. Rowan slammed the emergency release. Below, a massive cargo container dropped like judgment, smashing the Varnock reinforcements. Silence spread, fear replacing hostility. One rebel pointed at Rowan, voice shaking. They've taken their weapons and they're still unstoppable. Rowan descended slowly, boots clamping with each step. He stood before the defeated rebels. We don't need weapons to win, we just need purpose. The Terrans treated the wounded, enemy, and civilian alike. Rowan oversaw operations. Ribs aching, the Zerethian child returned, standing bravely before him. You saved us, the child said. Without killing, how? Rowan knelt, expression soft. Ending violence doesn't require creating more. The child stared, like seeing humanity for the first time. One turned his gaze skyward. That Lone Star shone brighter now. Maybe coincidence, maybe something else, maybe someone wanted them alive. When the council reviewed the mission logs, they wouldn't celebrate, because Rowan's squad had proven a terrifying truth. You can take human weapons, you can strip away their fleets, you can outlaw their guns. But as long as humans breathe, you will never disarm the human spirit. Rowan Trask had won a battle the galaxy said humans couldn't win anymore, but victory had its own enemies. 3 days after Zereth 4, the Sojourner docked at Varelian Station again, sleek, silent, underpowered by design. Peacekeeping ships weren't allowed to look intimidating. Rowan barely stepped off the ramp when he saw them. Council investigators, white armor, expressionless helmets, hands clasped behind backs as if already disappointed. Captain Rowan Trask, their leader, said, "You are summoned for inquiry. Unauthorized strategic aggression, excessive initiative, potential violation of the Disarmament Act." Rowan blinked once. "We save civilians. No fatalities. Isn't that the fantasy the Council keeps preaching?" "No fatalities," the investigator echoed. "Yes, that concerns us," Rafik muttered under his breath. "If we had killed them, it would be easier to explain." Rowan raised a hand to silence him. His voice remained calm. "We use no weapons. Your bodies," the investigator said, "became weapons." The words hit harder than any plasma bolt. A circular chamber, 1,000 eyes, some literal. Some sensors watching Rowan like he was a relic from a violent age. Counselor Veltor, a floating cephalopod being whose skin rippled with disdain, spoke first. "Terran Captain, twice now humans have proven that even unarmed, you can overpower trained soldiers. Is this not evidence that humanity remains inherently dangerous?" Rowan refused to bow. "We didn't invade Zereth 4, we protected it. Peace isn't passive." "We fear not what you do," Veltor snapped. "We fear what you are." Rowan stared at him. "Then your fear is the problem, not humanity." Whispers, gasps, a few impressed expressions. Bravery tasted a lot like foolishness. After the tribunal, a single official remained in the room. Human older, dressed in civilian diplomat robes, Ambassador Lydia Marrow. She dismissed the guards. The room softened, no more accusation hanging in the air. "Only concern. You embarrassed them," she said. "That's dangerous." Rowan leaned back against the cold metal wall. "The truth is dangerous. Always has been." Marrow studied him carefully. "Rowan, you are becoming a symbol. The Council hates symbols they cannot control." He didn't respond. Immediately, he remembered that child on Zereth 4, how awe replaced fear in their eyes. A symbol was exactly what the galaxy needed. Night. Cycle. Rowan lay awake in his bunk, staring at the faint reflections of starlight on the ceiling. He wished he could turn off his mind as easily as turning off the lights. He replayed the battle in his head. The leap, the shield, the child. Yet one memory eclipsed the rest, that single star through the smoke, that impossible feeling. Someone wanted me alive. Rowan didn't pray. He didn't know how anymore, but he whispered, "If you're out there, Don't waste your time on me. Silence answered, but it felt like someone listening. Morning brought a summons, not to a cell, but a briefing room. Marrow stood beside a towering holographic projection of a world cloaked in silver-blue oceans. Val'Shira, Outer Rim Colony. Population, 3 million. Threat level. Internal upheaval. Another rebellion? Rowan asked. Marrow nodded. A brewing one. Local authorities are terrified it will turn violent. And they want humans there, Rowan guessed. Marrow almost smiled. They asked for you specifically. Rowan frowned. Why me? She stepped closer. Because word travels. People are whispering that humans can protect without destroying, that you offer peace the way peace was meant to be given. His chest tightened. Not with pride, but responsibility. What are the Council's conditions? Marrow hesitated. Then they will allow a human squad to deploy, but with even less equipment. Rowan laughed once, sharp, disbelieving. What do they want from us? To fight with pillows? Rowan, she said quietly. They want you to fail, publicly, to prove that humans are only safe when weak. The humiliation stung. Not for himself, but for what this meant. They want to silence the example we set on Zareth 4, he murmured. Yes, she said. So said another. Rowan returned to the barracks where his squad waited. Their gear lockers looked almost pathetic, reduced even further. Light kinetic vests, basic impact gloves, transparent steel helmets, no shields, no reinforced boots. A peacekeeper stripped down to nothing but hope. Rafik cracked a painful smile. So, we're going to fight in our pajamas next? Rowan faced them, voice steady. The Council wants us to fail. They want proof that humans need supervision. He looked each soldier in the eye. So let's give them the opposite. Private Amna raised her chin. You want us to prove we're the best? Rowan corrected gently. I want us to prove we're the good. Their uniforms felt different now, not weak, purposeful. As the squad loaded into the dropship, Rafik slowed beside Rowan. You ever think, he asked softly, that we aren't alone out there? Something bigger, watching what we do? Rowan's breath caught. I think, he said carefully, that the universe keeps saving us for a reason. Rafik smiled faintly. Then maybe it's time we start living like we're needed. The dropship engines roared. Thrusters flared. Clouds parted. Rowan clenched the rail beside him, not in fear, in resolve. If peace was a challenge, then humans would rise to meet it, even stripped of power. They would show strength. Even without weapons, they would win. The galaxy would learn. Humanity doesn't need permission to protect, and Rowan would make sure the whole universe remembered it. As the dropship broke atmosphere and the first glimmer of Val'Shira appeared below, Rowan whispered a promise to a god he wasn't sure he believed in. If you gave us this fire, then I'll make sure it lights the dark. The dropship punched through Val'Shira's pale blue cloud cover, revealing a breathtaking sight. Floating cities, metallic petals suspended above shimmering oceans, crystalline towers threading upward like silver vines. A world built to defy gravity. But defiance, Rowan knew, could take darker forms. Touchdown in Sector 9, the pilot announced. Below, a crowd gathered, thousands of civilians, packed into the sky plazas, holding banners, shouting too many voices at once. No clear enemy, no clear threat, only chaos waiting to choose a direction. As Rowan's squad disembarked, a representative approached, Governor Leora Vin, an insectoid humanoid whose glassy wings flickered anxiously. You're the Terran unit? She asked, studying them with too many eyes. Where are your weapons? Rowan kept his tone neutral. We were deployed under the Disarmament Act. Her wings snapped tight in frustration. You came to stop a rebellion without weapons? How do you expect to protect us? Rowan met her gaze calmly. We protect by standing between you and violence. Sometimes that's enough. She wasn't convinced. He didn't blame her. The rally surged louder. A towering Val'Shiran stepped forward on a rooftop, voice booming through amplifiers. No more control. No more alien oversight. Val'Shira answers to no council. Cheers erupted like thunder. Buildings vibrated with tension. Rafik leaned close to Rowan. This crowd's a spark away from explosion. Rowan scanned the plaza. Frightened civilians pressed against barriers. Security drones malfunctioning from overload. Young radicals waving iron bars and deterrent batons. Children caught in the middle. Terrified peace was a fragile glass. One crack, and everything would shatter. A yell, a shove, a metal canister thrown. It detonated in a burst of noise, not fire. A sonic disruptor. Civilians screamed, stumbling. Panic rippled outward. Rowan acted instantly. Form a human barricade. Protect the civilians. Steady pressure. The Terrans locked arms, forming a shield wall. No weapons, but unbreakable resolve. They guided families back step by step. A zealot roared from above. Terrans think they can chain us forever. Let's see them bleed. A thrown spoke of steel spun downward. Rowan saw its trajectory, saw where it would land. On a little girl, he sprinted, shoulder slamming, into the child just in time. Pain lanced down his arm as the rod struck his armor. He didn't even stop to check the injury. Governor Leora shouted through a megaphone. This is not the way. We demand peace. But radicals surged forward. A wave of bodies in rage armed with improvised blades and shock staffs. Rowan braced, calculating angles. Hands only, he ordered quietly. Push, don't strike. Redirect, don't injure. They held the line. A young protester confronted Rowan directly, blade shaking in hand. We don't want war, but we're not afraid of humans anymore. Rowan stepped closer, voice low and steady. I don't want you to fear us. I want you to trust us. The young man's hand trembled. You could kill me right now. Why don't you? Rowan leaned in. Because I'm not your enemy. I'm the one here to make sure you live long enough to realize that. The blade lowered, doubt replacing fury. A small victory. But tension still coiled thick in the air. Rowan noticed it before anyone else. Glint on a distant balcony. A faint hum, targeting laser. Not a protester. Not militia, a trained assassin. Their target? Governor Leora. Rowan didn't think. He moved. He sprinted toward her, you shouting, down! The rifle fired. A bolt of crimson plasma slicing the air. Rowan slammed into the governor, both toppling behind a support column. The crowd froze. The world held its breath. And in that breath, the assassin fired again. Rowan saw the muzzle flash, but not where the shot landed. Rafik dropped to one knee, armor smoking. He had stepped into the line of fire for Rowan and the governor. Rowan crawled to him, hands trembling. You stay with me, Rowan growled. You hear me? Stay? Rafik forced a pained grin. You think I'm dying? No chance. Someone out there still needs me. And it's definitely not the council. Medics rushed in, but anger surged in the crowd, their fear turning into something Rowan dreaded. Vengeance. Governor Leora stood, shaken but alive. Rowan nudged her forward. Speak, now, before someone else claims the moment. She hesitated, then raised her voice, wings flaring. My people, look at what is happening. Someone wants us to turn this plaza into a grave. The crowd paused. We fight the wrong enemy, she continued. The Terrans are not here to rule us. They are here so that we may rule ourselves without shedding blood. Many stared at Rowan, waiting, testing. He met every gaze. You want freedom? Rowan shouted. We want that too. But freedom won through murder is just a different kind of cage. Slowly, hands lowered, weapons dropped, breaths released. The chaos subsided. The assassin fled into the skyline, but the day was saved, not by power, by presence. As night finally settled, Rowan stood on a high terrace overlooking the still bustling city. The sky reflected silver moonlight across the ocean far below. Governor Leora approached. If you had weapons, she said, this would have become a massacre. Rowan nodded. That's why we don't carry them. She tilted her head, studying the man who'd taken a bullet for her. What gives your species such conviction? You risk yourselves for strangers, for planets that are not your own. Rowan's gaze drifted upward, to a constellation he didn't recognize. Because life isn't an accident, he said quietly. Because someone worked too hard to make all this possible. A moment of silence, peaceful, sacred. You truly believe that? Leora asked. Rowan didn't look away from the stars. I don't believe in war, he said, but I believe in purpose. Later, Rowan received a secure transmission. Ambassador Marrow's face appeared, grave. Someone inside the council authorized that sniper, she said. Someone wants you dead. Rowan felt the chill run deep. They're terrified of the example you're setting. And they should be, Rowan replied, because humanity had just proven again, you can strip away our weapons, but you will never strip away our courage, and courage, Rowan knew, was the most dangerous weapon of all. Dawn glimmered across Val'Shira's floating horizon like liquid gold. The air tasted lighter now, less fear, more possibility. But Rowan Trask didn't feel relief. He felt the crosshair of an invisible enemy settling between his shoulders. Rafik lay in the medical bay, armor charred around the plasma wound. Rowan stood beside him, arms folded tight, watching the rise and fall of his friend's chest. "You're not allowed to die," Rowan muttered. "I still need someone to complain with." Rafik cracked one eye open, a ghost of a smirk. "I'll live." "God doesn't want me yet," he rasped. "And the council sure doesn't." Rowan almost smiled. But something burned behind his ribs, anger, fear, faith trying to awaken. He squeezed Rafik's shoulder. "Rest, I'll be back." Governor Leora had dedicated the entire security grid to tracking the sniper and whatever they were. The holographic display flickered with surveillance feeds. Masked figure vaulting across rooftops. Movement. Too fluid for a civilian. Gear. Too advanced for a protester. Rowan traced the trajectory. "They fired from here," he said, marking a balcony, then fled into the maintenance tunnels below. Leora frowned. "That area leads to old council supply caches. Restricted zones. Why would a rebel know that pathway?" Rowan swallowed a bitter truth. They aren't rebels. This was never about Val'Shira, it was about silencing us. Leora's wings stiffened. "The council?" she whispered. Rowan didn't answer. He didn't need to. Some truths are too loud even when unspoken. Rowan descended into the underbelly of the floating city. Metal dripping with condensation. Steam hissing like angry spirits. The deeper he went, the more the air tasted wrong. Head, a sealed blast door. Council property. His radio crackled. Marrow's voice urgent. "Trask, stop." "Sensors just came online there." The blast door slid open before she finished. Inside, crates marked with a symbol forbidden on Terran soil. Terran strike arsenal. Confiscated. Rowan froze. His pulse thundered. These were human weapons, sealed since the Disarmament Act. He opened one crate. Inside, a folded exo-manipulator gauntlet, a plasma channel harness, a single rail-bolt lance core. His hand hovered over the equipment, a relic of a dangerous past. Marrow's voice came again, tight with fear. "Rowan, please don't touch anything. They want to trap you. If they can label you armed, they can execute you legally." Rowan stared at his own reflection in the weapon's chrome. The galaxy believed humans were monsters because of these. But Rowan knew the truth. Weapons didn't corrupt humanity. Humanity corrupted. Weapons turning tools into hope. He shut the crate. "We don't need these," he whispered. "And that's what terrifies them." Voice echoed from the shadows, mechanical, mocking, so noble, so naive. The sniper emerged, armor matte black, helmet smooth as a skull. "You saved a planet without a single shot fired. You inspire the weak to believe humanity is safe." They stepped closer. "That cannot be allowed." Rowan raised his fists. "Who sent you?" The helmet tilted. Amusement. "The council fears you will become a symbol." A pulse blade ignited, humming violet energy. "They fear symbols." The assassin lunged. Rowan dodged. Boots screeching on metal. The blade sizzled past his throat. No armor upgrades, no weapon enhancers. Just bone, muscle, and faith. He caught the assassin's wrist, momentum flipping the attacker into crates. The blade clattered away. The assassin slammed a gauntlet into Rowan's ribs. Pain shot white-hot through his chest. Rowan stumbled. The assassin retrieved the blade and pointed it at Rowan's heart. "You're not dangerous when unarmed," they hissed. Rowan, breathing hard, eyes blazing. "No, I'm dangerous because I care." He kicked off the wall, gravity boots sparking, launching himself like a bullet. They crashed into the floor, blade skittering away again. The assassin snarled, now angry. "You think mercy makes you strong?" They roared. "No," Rowan said, pinning them down with his full weight. "Purpose does." He pulled the mask off. A human face stared back. Rowan's heart dropped. You're one of us. The assassin spat hatred. No. I am what humanity must become, once we abandon weakness. Before Rowan could react and a concealed detonator blinked red, the assassin smiled. For the safety of the galaxy. You must die. Rowan rolled away as the explosive charge detonated, heat, smoke, screaming metal. When the blast cleared, the assassin was gone. Back aboard Sojourner, Rowan reported everything to Marrow. A human assassin, she whispered. Armed by the Council. Trained to kill Terrans who refuse violence. Rowan's jaw tightened. They fear us becoming protectors. Because protectors become leaders. And leaders become threats. Marrow finished. Rowan turned toward the stars outside the viewport. They think taking our weapons keeps them safe, he said. But the most powerful weapon humans ever used was the will to protect. Others, his voice lowered, on almost a prayer. You can't ban what we are. Later that night, Rowan visited Rafik again, who was fully awake now, grimacing through recovery. You look like you lost a fight with a spaceship, Rafik joked. Pretty close, Rowan replied. Rafik's tone softened. You're thinking again. Dangerous habit, Rowan sighed. I saw things down there, things that shouldn't exist, and someone tried to kill us because we chose peace. Rafik's eyes sharpened. That means we're doing something right. Rowan sat. I keep feeling like we're being guided, protected, like someone's not done with us. Rafik nodded slowly. Then maybe we should stop pretending we're alone. One didn't respond. He didn't have to. Faith didn't need answers. It needed motion. Governor Leora stood on the docking platform as Rowan prepared to depart. Captain Trask, she said, voice resonating with new trust. Humans have saved my people twice. I will speak for you in the council. Rowan bowed his head. Thank you. She placed a hand over his heart. Perhaps your greatest weapon is not fear, but hope. Rowan smiled. Tired but real. Hope is dangerous, he said. And humanity has always been a little dangerous. The engines roared. The ship rose. And as Val'Shira shrank beneath them, Rowan looked out the viewport, toward the silent, watching stars. If God had given humanity a spark, then Rowan would ignite it. The Council didn't wait long to respond. Rowan Trask's victory spread faster than light. Civilians across dozens of worlds replayed footage of unarmed humans shielding them, saving them, proving strength without cruelty. To the innocent, Rowan became a symbol of hope. To tyrants, he became a dangerous idea. The stars above Val'Shira Station felt colder when summons order Sebisven Theta arrived. The council chamber was a cathedral of judgment, marble floors reflecting crimson banners of unity that felt more like warning flags. Rowan entered flanked by security. Not escorted, contained. Councillor Veltor presided again, tentacles coiled, eyes narrowed. Captain Trask, he declared. You acted beyond mandate on Zereth 4 and Val'Shira. You interfered with political development. You turned civilians against rightful authority. Rowan remained unflinching. I prevented mass casualties. I saved families from becoming body counts. That, Veltor hissed, is the problem. You protected the wrong people. The chamber stirred. Murmurs like distant thunder. A hollow screen ignited, replaying Rowan's stand before the Val'Shiran crowd. His voice echoed, we want freedom too, and we will protect it. Pause. Zoom on Rowan's face. A symbol of resolve twisted into a threat. Those words, Veltor spat, have inspired 17 civilian uprisings in the past 48 hours alone. Your mercy brings rebellion. Rowan's voice sharpened. No, injustice brings rebellion. I just refuse to look away. Veltor slammed a limb against his dais. You encourage faith. You ignite hope. And hope is the spark that burns empires. Rowan stepped forward. Then maybe the galaxy needs burning. Gasps. Panic. Every camera focused on him. Counselor. Veltor let silence stretch until it felt like suffocation. You are hereby grounded. Your command revoked. Your squad reassigned. The words hit like bullets. They were stripping Rowan of purpose, breaking the symbol. Veltor leaned forward, voice dripping venom. Humans were disarmed to protect the galaxy from themselves. You remind us why that was necessary. Rowan clenched his fists. We saved millions without killing. How's that a threat? Veltor smiled. a predator savoring the moment. Because the galaxy does not fear your cruelty anymore, he paused. It fears your goodness. Rowan was escorted to a private containment suite, luxurious, comfortable, suffocating. He stared at his reflection in the glass wall, a soldier without a mission, a symbol locked in a box. The door hissed open. Ambassador Marrow stepped inside, eyes tired, voice weary. They plan to silence you quietly, she said. A diplomatic disappearance. The public will be told you retired peacefully. Rowan laughed once, a humorless, that's not peace. That's erasure. Marrow moved closer, lowering her voice. There are members of the council who support you, in secret. They want change too, but fear speaking out. Rowan looked up sharply. So what do we do? Her answer was immediate. We show the galaxy that silence is the true danger. That night, Rowan couldn't sleep. He walked to the window, universe stretched before him. Like a canvas of eternity, so many stars, so much unknown, so much meaning waiting to be found. He placed a hand on the glass. If there is a reason we survived the wars, he whispered. Give me a sign we're meant for more than being caged. No response, only the soft hum of life support. He exhaled, prepared to give up hope, when something flickered outside the station. A ship, not council make, drifting dark and silent, yet unmistakably Terran in design, a voice behind him. I take it you see it too? Rowan turned. Rafik stood in the doorway, bandaged but defiant. You should be recovering, Rowan said. And miss a secret human ship appearing out of nowhere? Not happening. The vessel slid closer, running lights igniting slowly. TSV Deliverance. A name humanity never forgot. Rafik stared, whispering. That ship was destroyed in the war. Rowan's heart pounded. No, not destroyed. Hidden. For the day humanity would need it again. A transmission crackled through hidden channels. Captain Rowan Trask. The galaxy needs a reminder of who humans really are. Board the Deliverance. Rafik grinned. Looks like destiny found us. Rowan hesitated, gravity of choice crushing him. If he stepped on that ship, there would be no going back. He thought of the child he saved, the crowds he calmed, the assassins sent to silence him, the stars watching. Not random. Never random. Rowan whispered. You gave us fire, I won't let it die. He turned to Rafik, let's go show the universe why they can't ban what God created us to be. The door to his suite slid open, unguarded. Hope itself had unlocked it, no alarms. Sounded, no sirens blared. The council didn't expect a human to walk toward danger without a weapon. But Rowan didn't. Walk he ran, Rafik close behind him, limping but fierce. They reached the docking bay as robotic loaders moved supplies. The Deliverance waited, hangar lights gleaming off its obsidian hull. Its ramp lowered like the hand of fate. Rowan looked back once, at the station, at the chains he refused to wear. No more cages, he murmured. He stepped aboard. The ship sealed shut, engines roared. The Deliverance launched into the stars, carrying the weapon the galaxy feared most. Human who refused to stop protecting others. The Deliverance cut through the void like a ghost resurrected. Its hull drank light instead of reflecting it, a design forbidden by council decree. A Terran warship, rebuilt in secret, waiting for the day humanity would rise again. Rowan stepped into the command deck as flickering hollow consoles slowly powered on. Dust coated everything, but beneath the neglect, power hummed alive, waiting. Rafik stood behind him, leaning on a support strut. Feels like stepping into a myth, he muttered. Rowan traced a hand along the main console. His palm activated it instantly, the interface pulsing gold beneath his touch. Ship identity confirmed, a synthetic voice said. Captain Rowan Trask recognized. Genetic command authority granted. Rowan froze. I never served on this ship, Rafik frowned. Then why would it recognize you? The holodisplay flickered to life, revealing an emblem Rowan had only seen in classified archives. Sunburst fractal, humanity's most forbidden symbol. Rafik whispered it like a prayer. The Dawn Core. A secure AI projection coalesced before them. A shimmering figure with no face. Only a bright core archivist, Terran Strategic Sentience Level 5, Captain Trask, the AI said. Protocol Dawn Core 01A requires disclosure. What is the Dawn Core? Rowan asked. The AI projected a timeline. Wars, devastation, silence. When the Council demanded human disarmament, the AI explained, they feared your ingenuity. They banned your tools believing that would end your threat. The projection zoomed into Earth, continents scarred from past wars. So, the archivist continued, Terran High Command hid the one tool they couldn't take. A pulse of golden light spread outward, a star igniting. Humanity itself. The AI's voice deepened. Dawn Core is not a weapon. It is your origin. Your design. You are the weapon. Rafik swallowed hard. What does that even mean? The AI turned its faceless gaze toward Rowan. Human adaptation and willpower are not evolution by chance. They were engineered, forged, guided. Rowan felt the world tilt. By who? He breathed. The archivist paused. A reverent silence. By the one who first gifted light to the void. Rafik's eyes widened. You mean God? The AI did not deny it. The AI opened a hidden compartment behind the command chair, containing a crystalline sphere humming with radiant energy. A heartbeat inside glass. This is the Dawn Core engine, Archivist said. A living power source. It resonates with human spirit. With your belief. Rowan stepped closer, the sphere responding to his presence, glowing brighter. It senses your purpose. The AI continued. Your drive to protect, to sacrifice, to hope. Rowan's throat tightened. Why me? Because you believed even when you had no weapons, the AI said. You prayed without knowing who might listen. Rowan's voice cracked. I'm not a saint. No, the archivist agreed. You are human. That is greater. The holographic galaxy zoomed out, showing council fleets, massive, armed, moving. They fear what humans inspire, the AI warned, and they are mobilizing to eliminate the inspiration. Rafik muttered. So the council declares war, on hope. Rowan stared at the Dawn Core sphere, feeling its warmth radiate into his bones. What does it do? He asked. The AI answered plainly. It turns conviction into power. The ship lights surged, reactors roaring awake, as if responding to Rowan's heartbeat. Captain Trask, Archivist said, the universe has tested humans with extinction. You endured. The Dawn Core pulsed brighter. You have shown mercy. So the galaxy calls you weak. Show them the truth. Rowan clenched his fists. Show them what? The AI's voice became a command written into his destiny. That humans do not survive by killing. We survive by protecting. Sirens blared. The ship detected incoming vessels. Council security fleet 4 minutes out. Rafik cursed. They tracked us. Rowan placed both hands on the Dawn Core. The sphere flared, energy rippling through the ship. Power levels increasing. The AI reported. Defensive systems online. No lethal armaments available. Rowan breathed. Good. We don't kill. The viewport display filled with Council warships. Plasma cannons warming. Rafik looked at Rowan. We could run. No, Rowan said. We show them who we are. He spread his hands across the console, activating Dawn Core shield. A wave of blinding gold erupted around the Deliverance, a protective halo stretching miles outward. The Council fleet scanners fried instantly. Their aim faltered, their shots fired, and vanished into the light. Rowan whispered, This is what faith looks like. Rafik stared in awe. We just blocked a fleet with belief? No, Rowan answered softly. With purpose. The ship broadcast a signal to the Council. We are not your slaves. We are not your threat. We are your protectors, and we will never stop standing in front of the innocent. Veltor's furious response crackled through. Humanity has forgotten its place. Rowan fired back. Humanity doesn't have a place. We make one. As the Council ships regrouped, the archivist spoke again. Captain, you have done what no human has done since the ban. You awakened the Dawn Core. The sphere now pulsed in time with Rowan's heartbeat. Rafik whispered, What now? Rowan's eyes blazed with a fire as old as mankind. Now we remind the stars why humans survived. In the first place, he stared into the enemy fleet, unarmed but unstoppable, and somewhere far beyond the galaxy's edge in the silence between stars, a presence seemed to answer, a whisper not of fear, but approval. Let there be light. The Council fleet remained frozen at the edge of the Dawn Corps' radiant shield, blinded and terrified by a defense that broke every law of physics they understood. Meanwhile, the Deliverance hovered in solemn stillness. Inside, Rowan stood before the viewport, eyes reflecting the glow of the Dawn Corps. Heart pounding like a war drum, Rafik joined him, leaning slightly from his healing injury. They're regrouping, he warned. They'll try again. They can try, Rowan replied. But this time, we're not alone, Rafik frowned. What do you mean, not alone? The ship's sensors flared to life. Dozens of signals. Non-Council civilian vessels, all broadcasting a single encrypted code. Terran Safe Harbor. Refugees, from worlds where Rowan had intervened, and worlds he hadn't, families, workers, leaders, entire communities. Making a choice. Trust the humans. Transmission windows opened one by one. We heard you stand for those without power. Our children are hunted. Help us. Let us shelter under your light. Let us believe again. Rowan felt his throat tighten. The Dawn Corps shield stretched, wider and wider, as the archivist diverted energy outward. Soon, hundreds of ships floated under its protection, different species, different tongues, united by hope. Rafik breathed, astonished. They're running to us instead of away. Rowan nodded. They finally discovered what the Council has always feared. And what is that? Rafik asked. That humans don't conquer. Rowan looked at the stars, determination blazing. Protect, Counselor Veltor appeared. On the main comm screen, all poised authority. Cracked into desperation. You are harboring fugitives. You are destabilizing lawful systems. This is an act of... Rowan cut him off. An act of mercy. Veltor slammed his limbs in fury. You think your light makes you holy? Humanity is a plague. You are spreading rebellion. Rowan stepped close to the screen. We're not spreading rebellion. He lowered his voice. A blade hidden in velvet. We're spreading freedom. Veltor's voice dropped to a hiss. You will kneel, or burn. Rowan smiled, not with arrogance, but certainty. We kneel only before the one who gave us light. Veltor's rage froze, as if the very word one was poisonous. Then the transmission cut. The archivist processed hundreds of distress requests simultaneously. Deliverance is now officially the most wanted ship in the galaxy, he announced. Priority target for Council. Termination. Rafik chuckled darkly. Congratulations, Captain. We're legends and criminals. Rowan took a deep breath. Every choice from here reshaped destiny. Send a message to every vessel under our shield, he commanded. What message? The AI asked. Rowan turned toward the Dawn Corps, pulsing like a sacred heart, that a new journey begins today. Across open channels, outlawed and encrypted, Rowan's voice reached the desperate. This galaxy forgot what humans are. It forgot that peace isn't the absence of weapons, it's the presence of protectors. He paused, letting silence carry the weight of truth. You are safe here. You are seen. You deserve a home where your children can sleep without fear. Every screen filled with his eyes, steady and fearless. We will build that home together from stars to the edges of creation. He lifted his hand at a solemn vow. No more kneeling. Not for any council, only for the one who made us strong. Cheers erupted aboard refugee ships. Tears shed. Hope reborn. Rafik grinned wide. You basically declared independence. Rowan corrected him softly. No, I declared humanity, the deliverance. Activated sublight thrusters, guiding a fleet of frightened souls toward uncharted territory, a new odyssey, new promise, a new exodus. Through corridors of swirling nebulae, the refugees followed the golden halo of the Dawn Corps, a second sun in the darkness. Rowan watched the EZU. Navigation chart update. Unknown system ahead, no council. Rule, plentiful water and oxygen signatures. A world waiting. For a name, Rafik whispered, what do we call it? Rowan's eyes softened. Home. But hope never traveled without a shadow. Sensors shrieked. The archivist appeared. Urgent. Mass displacement detected. Warp signature consistent with Dread-class interdictor. Council flagship. Rafiq's jaw tightened. They sent their god-killer? The Dread-class had ended the Terran War. It was a name spoken like a funeral memory. And now, it hunted the Deliverance. Rowan didn't falter. How long until arrival? 3 hours, the AI replied. 3 hours to prepare. 3 hours to save thousands. 3 hours to prove humans were chosen for more than war. Rowan placed a hand on the Dawn Core. If you saved us once, he murmured, save the ones who believed. The Dawn Core pulsed, as if answering. Rafiq stood beside him, shoulder to shoulder. Whatever comes, he said. We stand together, always. Rowan nodded. Always. He looked out at the fleet under his protection. Fragile. Hopeful, alive, I swear, Rowan said softly. No one dies today. His oath echoed through the ship, into stars that had heard such promises only from prophets. The Deliverance accelerated, engines roaring not with fuel, but conviction. The archivist's final report before battle. Captain, every soul under your shield believes in you, Rowan. Closed his eyes, letting that belief strengthen his heart will give them a reason to believe in something greater. He opened his eyes. Steel hard with faith, prepare. All defenses, we protect the innocent. No matter the cost, the stars trembled. Because humanity was no longer disarmed, they were awakened. God had made them protectors, and the Council was about to learn. If you push humans to the edge, they will show you the power of the light. The stars ignited with tension as a monstrosity emerged from warp, the Dread-class interdictor. A warship forged for one purpose, to erase humanity from history. Its weapons arrays bloomed like metallic nightmares, casting a shadow long enough to smother belief itself. Rowan Trask stood at the center of the bridge, the Dawn Core glowing like a newborn sun behind him. Rafiq stared at the enemy in disbelief. It's bigger than any ship we fought in the war. It was built to kill the idea of us, Rowan replied. And today, that idea stood defiant. The interdictor opened comms, Counselor Veltor's face twisted by hatred. Deliverance. Surrender. Release the fugitives. Disable your light, kneel, and live. Rowan stepped forward, voice calm. Unwavering, we do not kneel, Veltor. Slammed a limb onto the console, then die with them. The Dread-class fired black plasma beams and anti-light, weaponry designed to tear suns apart. The Dawn Core shield flared, gold against the void, absorbing darkness. In halos of brilliance, not one refugee ship was touched. Rafiq laughed, equal parts awe and adrenaline. We're shielding thousands of lives with belief. Rowan corrected softly. Not belief. Purpose. Captain, the archivist reported. Offensive systems are disabled. Per disarmament protocols. We cannot return fire. That's exactly why we'll win, Rowan said. He activated the gravity harmonics engine and originally designed for mining. Rowan repurposed it into a defensive miracle. Fields of warped gravity blossomed, diverting plasma and missiles into empty space. The interdictor's weapons twisted off course, turning its fury into harmless fireworks. Veltor screamed through comms. This is impossible. You have no weapons. Rowan answered. We don't destroy. We protect. The Dread-class launched breaching pods, drilling claws biting into Deliverance's hull. Boarders incoming, Rafiq shouted, but Rowan didn't panic. He felt the Dawn Core's pulse sync with his own heartbeat. We meet them where they think we're weak. He led unarmed Terran defenders through the corridors. No guns, no blades, only determination. The first squad of Council shock troopers stormed through a hatch. Humans cannot fight. One snarled, aiming his spike rifle. Rowan stepped forward. They fired. The bullets dissolved into golden dust before touching him. Shock froze their eyes. Rowan advanced, steady, fearless. We are not here to kill you, he said. We are here to protect those you are trying to harm. One soldier trembled. Protection. Without weapons? That's madness. No, Rowan replied. That's humanity. The soldiers lowered their rifles, the first defection, a miracle in the heart of battle. The refugees, watching their saviors stand unarmed against monsters, felt their courage ignite. On board the escort vessels, alien citizens shouted, "Protect the protectors! We fight for deliverance! For humanity!" They hacked docking clamps, rammed ships into council vessels, flooded comm channels with messages of defiance. Hope had become contagious. Veltor, frantic with rage, activated his last option, the Oblivion Beam, a superweapon capable of erasing matter from existence. "Your light ends now," he roared. The interdictor's core turned black, a star dying backwards, power building to cataclysm. Rafiq's voice cracked. "If that thing fires, even the Dawn Corps won't stop it." Rowan closed his eyes. No prayer on his lips, just a plea in his heart. "Show us how to protect them all." The Dawn Corps brightened. Rowan understood, not through logic, but conviction. He placed both hands on the sphere. The light responded, burning brighter. Purer gold reshaped the air, gravity bending. Time trembling, the archivist's voice awed. "Captain, you're channeling the Dawn Corps directly." The interdictor fired, but before the beam could strike, the deliverance vanished into light. Not warp, not speed. Something greater. The Oblivion Beam sliced through nothing, hitting only the dark. Rowan and the refugees rematerialized behind the Dread class, shield expanding, enveloping the behemoth. The superweapon, still active, unfolded inward. The interdictor was consumed by its own darkness. No explosion, just silence. A void swallowed by the very fear it created. Thousands of sensors recorded it. Millions would replay it. History changed in a single heartbeat. Cheers erupted across the fleet. Rafiq clutched Rowan's shoulder, emotional. "You did it. You literally saved an entire civilization." Rowan shook his head. "We did it. All of us. Humanity didn't win because we fought harder. We won because we loved harder." He looked at the Dawn Corps, now pulsing warm. "Come alive, that's our greatest weapon." Rowan broadcast to all ships, weary but unwavering. "The Council sent darkness to destroy hope. Hope endured. Now we offer every world a choice. Stay in chains, or step forward into the light with us." The crowd of refugee vessels answered as one. "We choose light." The new exodus was no longer running. They were marching toward a future they would build together. Rafiq stood beside Rowan, a quiet moment amid glory. "You think he's watching?" he asked. Rowan gazed toward the stars, endless, infinite, purposeful. "Yes," he said softly, "and I think he's smiling." News travels faster than ships, within hours. Across thousands of star systems, every screen flickered with the impossible. An armed human shield a fleet destroy a Dread class in one move even. Races who had never met a human whispered their name now like a myth reborn. Rowan Trask. The Captain of Light. The Protector who did not kill. The Deliverance flew ahead of the refugee fleet, a golden beacon through space. Every child aboard those ships looked to it for safety. Every adult prayed, some for the first time in their lives, because if humanity could survive without violence, maybe peace wasn't a lie after all. A holomap expanded on the bridge, flashing with distress signals from distant stars. Miners enslaved on Varkan 3. Farmers taxed to starvation on Krios Belt. Colonies abandoned after earthquakes on Alara Prime. Children conscripted for war on Sarlon Fields. Rafiq stared wide-eyed. "They're all asking for us. Every single one," the archivist confirmed. "Current refugee count 1.2 million and rising." Rowan felt the weight settle on his shoulders. Not fear, responsibility. "This isn't an escape," Rowan said quietly. "It's a movement." Rafiq nodded. "A movement needs a home." The Deliverance dropped out of warp into a system never colonized. A star glowing blue-white. Young and vibrant. 3 habitable moons circling a world of shimmering forests and freshwater oceans. Sensors pinged positively. Oxygen levels perfect, gravity stable. No sentient life detected. Rafiq stared through the viewport. "Captain, this could be it." Rowan gazed in awe, a clean page in the book of creation. "This world deserves a name," he said. Rafik grinned. "Got one in mind?" Rowan whispered. New dawn. Transports began to descend. Engineers unloading housing modules. Doctors establishing clinics in sunlight. Children running on real. Soil for the first time, no fear, no overseers, no chains. Rowan stood on the surface, boots sinking into soft grass, and his heart swelled. "This," he murmured, "is what humanity was meant to fight for. Not domination. Home, but not everyone celebrated. In the Council fortress, panic roared through cold marble halls. Veltor smashed screens showing new dawn. "This is how humanity ends the galaxy," he snarled. "Not with war, but with inspiration." Counselor Ixel, a crystalline being of logic, countered, "We outlawed their weapons. We forgot to outlaw their ideals." Panic flickered between them. "If more worlds join them," Ixel continued, "the Council collapses." Veltor's voice dropped to a cold whisper. "Then we break their symbol. We break Rowan Trask." Refugee representatives gathered on Deliverance aliens from 100 worlds, each wearing hopeful eyes. A Varthian elder, feathers silvered, with age, bowed deeply. "Our people have lived under fear for generations. Humans showed us another way." Then a young Zerethian, the same child Rowan once saved, stepped forward. "Captain, you protected me when I was no one. Now, let me protect others with you." Rowan felt emotion rise sharp in his chest. Movement like this wasn't led by power. It was led by gratitude. He raised his voice for all. "We are not building an army, we are building a promise." Cheers shook the air. Night fell on new dawn, stars shimmering like blessings. Rowan wandered alone, listening to ocean wind through untouched trees. He looked upward, a habit now, wondering if the one he felt was listening again. Rafik found him. "You think he approves?" Rafik asked. Rowan considered the families laughing in camps below, the children climbing trees without alarms blaring, the healers working without fear of bombs falling. "Yes," Rowan said. "I think this is exactly why we were made." Rafik smiled softly. "I used to think faith was a comfort for the desperate," he said. "Now I think it's guidance for the chosen." Rowan didn't argue, because in his heart, fire had replaced doubt. The wind changed. Rowan's instincts sharpened. He saw a faint shimmer near the tree line, like air bending. Not an animal, not a natural flicker, a cloaked figure. Before Rowan could draw breath, a whisper cut through the quiet. "Protect all you want. You cannot protect yourself." A sniper shot fired, silent, deadly, aimed for Rowan's heart, but the Dawncore reacted first. A golden shield erupted, the bolt, dissolving into harmless light. Rowan turned, the assassin was gone, leaving only a chilling message burned into the soil. "The light will go out," Rafik cursed. "They found us." Rowan answered, voice steady. "No." They followed the light. He looked toward the sky again, not in fear, but resolve. "We won't dim it." Back on the Deliverance, Rowan addressed his council of allies. "The Council will strike again," he said, "and harder." Rafik slammed his fist on the table. "So we hit first?" Rowan shook his head. "No, we grow first. Silence, confusion, then understanding. We build hospitals," Rowan said. "We build schools. We build freedom." He looked at each face, warrior and civilian alike, and when the Council comes, we show them what humanity was truly created for. Hope, protection, light. Rowan stepped onto the balcony above the refugee camps. He raised one arm toward the stars. His voice carried through, speakers through hearts. "We are not the broken. We are not the banned. We are not the forgotten." Crowds roared, a mix of tears and thunder. "Here are the ones who stand. We are the ones who shield. We are the light the darkness fears." Hands rose in unity. The Deliverance pulsed gold. Behind him, but a promise made visible. "For every world that has been silenced," Rowan vowed, "we will be the voice. For every home that has been burned, we will be the shelter. And for every child who still prays in fear." He pointed to the glowing Dawncore within the ship, beating like a holy heart. We will be the answer. The cheers shook the ground. Rowan breathed one last line, quiet, but heard by heaven. Let the council fear our mercy. For days, the newly christened New Dawn thrived. Shelters rising, crops planted, distant laughter carried on ocean wind. It felt like the beginning of something eternal, but eternity has enemies. On the 10th sunrise, alarms screamed across the valley. The stars darkened, dozens, then hundreds of war signatures emerging from hyperspace. The Council Armada had come, every ship engineered to break planets, every cannon designed to erase civilizations. Rowan Trask stood on the cliffside above. New dawn, fists clenched as the sky filled with death. Rafik came beside him, face set like carved steel. They brought everything, he said. Rowan nodded. So did we. Counselor Veltor's amplified voice thundered through atmosphere. Return the fugitives, surrender the deliverance, kneel, and we will show mercy. Rowan stepped forward, the wind ripping through his uniform. His answer was broadcast to the entire armada. We do not surrender the innocent. We do not abandon the hopeful, and we do not kneel. The Dawn Corps pulsed once. The council opened fire. A storm of antimatter bolts rained down, enough firepower to turn continents to ash. The Dawn Corps shield rose, a golden sky, shaped by belief, absorbing destruction like sunlight. The crowd below gasped as fire turned into harmless light. Rafik exhaled, shaken. This isn't war. This is salvation. Velocity pods shot downward. Council shock troopers deploying by the hundreds, aiming not for Rowan, but for the refugees. Rowan's blood chilled. They're going for the civilians. He sprinted toward the spire where the Deliverance sat docked. Dawn Corps light tracing his footsteps. Mobilize defensive teams, he ordered. No lethal force. Terrans raced into position, forming human walls around the camps as armored aliens charged. Rowan met the first trooper with open hands, redirecting a rifle swing, flipping the attacker hard enough to disarm without breaking bones. He grabbed another by the chest plate. We don't kill for peace, but the trooper's visor cracked, revealing tears inside. We were told humans were monsters. Rowan released them gently. You were told wrong. Slowly, the trooper dropped their gun and surrendered. A shuttle pierced the shield, coated in weaponized void energy that repelled the Dawn Corps. It crashed into the plateau. From the wreckage emerged the assassin from Val'Shira, half armor, half hatred, now infused with void tech. Their voice echoed, inhuman. You cannot protect them forever. Light fails. Rowan steadied his stance. That's what darkness always believes. Before sunrise, the assassin lunged, blade drawn. Rowan blocked with his forearm, Dawn Corps energy sparking from his skin. Rafik moved to help. But Rowan shouted, get to the civilians. I've got this. The two collided again, each strike a clash of purpose and corruption. Above, the Council flagship charged another superweapon. Below, the refugees huddled under the Dawn Corps sky. Rowan and the assassin fought on the edge of the cliff, every blow echoing across the battlefield. You think God favors your species? The assassin spat. Rowan gritted his teeth, pushing back. No, I think he favors anyone who protects his creation. The assassin roared, swinging wildly, but Rowan stepped inside the arc, grabbed their wrist, and placed his hand on their chest. Golden light surged. The void armor cracked. The assassin fell, stunned, armor disintegrating into dust. Their eyes flickered, fear becoming clarity. What have I done? The assassin whispered. Rowan knelt beside them. You can't erase the past, he said, but you can protect the future. For the first time. They nodded. Veltor's final command boomed from orbit. Erase the planet. Erase the light. The Armada's cores synchronized and forming a weapon of annihilation. A spear of darkness began to form, big enough to kill a star. Rafik yelled over comms, Rowan! This is it, it'll destroy all of us. Rowan ran back to the Dawn Corps, heart pounding fire. He placed both hands on the sphere. No fear, only resolve. Archivist, he said, link me to the fleet. Every ship under our protection. Every heart that believes. The AI hesitated. Captain, that many minds. The energy transfer could do it, Rowan commanded. The connection snapped open. Humanity's light and a million refugees' faith became one force. The Dawn Core erupted, a supernova of golden purpose. Rowan screamed through clenched teeth. We don't kill to survive, we survive to protect. He thrust his will into the heavens. The annihilation beam fired. Darkness met light. The heavens shook. The beam split, shattered, dissolved into stardust. The Council fleet reeled, crippled sensors and failing. Engines, all offense neutralized, new. Dawn stood unharmed. Rowan fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. The Dawn Core pulsed steady behind him, not drained, but stronger. Rafik rushed over, dropping beside him. You did it, he breathed. Rowan shook his head, tears stinging his eyes. We did. He looked toward the refugees, now warriors of hope. We all did. Above them, the Council Armada drifted powerless, forced to witness the one truth they never wanted revealed. Mercy is stronger than fear. Every channel, every system, every leader, they all saw it. A new kind of power, a new kind of victory, a reason to defy the Council. The age of terror was ending, the age of light was beginning. Rafik helped Rowan stand. So what now, Captain? Rowan looked up, toward stars that suddenly felt closer than ever. Now, he said, we free the galaxy. And somewhere unseen, heaven smiled. The battlefield was silent. Council warships floated powerless, wounded giants in the night. Below them, on the green plains of New Dawn, thousands of refugees stared upward, disbelief turning to wonder. They were still alive. Because of humans. Because of light. Rafik placed a hand on Rowan's shoulder, grounding him in the overwhelming calm that followed salvation. You did it, he whispered. Rowan shook his head gently. No, we believed, and the universe answered. The central dreadship signaled a desperate hail. Veltor appeared, shaken, defeated, terrified. What are you? He demanded, voice trembling. Rowan stood tall. We are protectors, nothing more. Nothing less. Veltor's limbs coiled tight, an instinctive fear response. You shield others with your lives. You give strength without asking for power. You end wars without weapons. His eyes gleamed with a truth he could no longer deny. That is why the galaxy fears you. Rowan answered softly. Perhaps it's time to stop fearing and start learning. Veltor's breath hitched, realization hitting. You want peace, Rowan nodded. We always did. Veltor looked away, shame and awe warring inside him. What happens now? He asked. Rowan stepped forward. You will stand down. You will leave these people. You will let them choose their destiny. And if we refuse? Veltor whispered. Rowan's eyes glowed with Dawn Core fire. Then you will. Watch as light chooses for you. Veltor bowed his head, surrendering without a single shot exchanged. The Council Armada powered down. The war was over, because humanity refused to fight it. Messages flooded in. Worlds overthrowing tyrants, soldiers laying down arms, children chanting Rowan's name, leaders asking to join the light. The galaxy had discovered a new truth. Humanity did not inspire fear anymore. Humanity inspired faith. Rowan felt the weight of it, a crown of responsibility he did not seek, but accepted, not as a king, as a guardian. A massive gathering took place on New Dawn, every species represented, every voice united. Rowan stood at the center of the council ring, Rafik beside him, leaning proudly on a cane. Governor Leora approached, wings gleaming in sunlight. Captain Rowan Trask, she declared. The galaxy names you High Protector of the Light Alliance. Thunderous cheers shook the sky. Rowan raised his hand for silence. I accept this role not to rule, but to serve. He pointed to the deliverance sign, its golden glow reflecting in every eye. We are not building an empire. We are building sanctuary. No fear, only purpose. Later, Rowan returned to the deliverance, standing before the Dawn Core, feeling its warmth ripple through him like a heartbeat of the universe. The archivist materialized beside him. Captain, the Dawn Core has a final message. Rowan placed his hand on the sphere. The voice that spoke wasn't electronic. It felt, "Ancient familiar, you protected my children, now protect my creation." Rowan closed his eyes, humility flooding him. He whispered into the light. "We were disarmed, but never powerless." The Dawn Corps' reply was a blessing. "Let my will be your shield." Rafik stepped into the chamber. "Protector," he teased lightly, "your people await orders." Rowan opened his eyes, and for the first time in his life, he knew exactly what to say. "We rebuild every world the Council broke, we heal every wound. The war left behind, and we defend every innocent human or alien with our last breath." Rafik smiled. "Amen to that." Ships departed New Dawn, spreading hope like wildfire, hospitals replacing prisons, schools replacing armories, unity replacing fear. The universe watched humanity, once exiled, once disarmed, become the guardians of light itself. People began saying, "If you are in danger, look for a human. They will not abandon you. They will stand in the way of darkness." And every child learned the truth. You do not need weapons to be a warrior of God. Night fell, stars blooming overhead. Rowan stood on a cliff, wind in his hair, gazing at the cosmos reborn. Rafik joined him silently. "Think you'll ever rest?" he asked. Rowan smiled faintly. "When darkness stops trying to win." Rafik nodded. "So, never?" "Never." They both laughed, soft and victorious. Rowan looked upward, when whispering with conviction, "You gave us light, and we will keep it burning." A star brightened, impossibly, as if answering. Rowan breathed his final words into the quiet. "Let there be light." And for the first time in history, the galaxy believed him.